everybody. Welcome back to the Tipsy Ghosts. We're your tipsy hosts, Sarah, and Lindsay.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
You guys want to hear some fun ways that you can break the law in Canada?
Of course. Ooh,
Yeah.
Can we guess?
For when we go.
I would guess.
You want to... All right. That is just a big, vague guess. How can you break the law in Canada?
I was thinking about it'd have to be something just kind of unkind. Like you looked at somebody the wrong way and now you've broken the law in Canada.
You flip them off.
Yeah, that's
in traffic.
Jail.
I don't think they do that there.
They do the ring finger.
They don't even have horns on their cars. So one of them is, obviously there's animal cruelty laws, but the most severe fine is if you hurt a cow.
Oh.
Okay.
You get more jail time if you hurt a cow than any other animal in Canada.
Is it a rare species in Canada?
I have no idea.
The rare dairy cow.
It's not like this is India, so I'm kind of confused by that, but okay.
Okay.
They
Interesting.
really like their cows there.
Cows deserve respect.
So polar bears are not uncommon in a town of Churchill, Manitoba. So because they are there, they have banned furry Halloween costumes for fear of attracting the bears in that town.
That's fair, because you might look too good. Like, ooh, there's my next mate.
Oh, there's my next girl,
No furry costumes.
Look at that fur.
Polar bear comes sauntering down into the village.
Ooh, this is
Look
sexy
at that.
polar bear.
Your igloo or mine?
Do polar bears hang out in igloos?
Sure they do.
Okay.
They build them with their paws.
In comic strips, yes.
They're the winter beavers.
Winter beavers.
Oh, I love that.
Boydson thought that was clever.
That was clever.
Canadian law specifically states that it is a criminal act to frighten a child or a sick person to death.
To death?
I mean, sure.
Well, yeah.
But like, can you scare them?
You can't scare anyone to death.
You can't scare kids and old people, but you can scare anybody else to death.
A child or a sick person. That's
Not
it.
old, just sick.
You have to be sick.
So no scaring you when you have a
I'm
cold.
disappointed in you.
Canada has complete freedom of religion, but you better be the real deal. Genuine witches or Wiccans are fine, but if you pretend to be a witch, you are violating the criminal code of Canada.
Oh, ooh, you can't go to Canada.
You can't do it on Halloween either. No furries, no witches.
It says those who,
Thinking
quote, pretend to exercise or use any kind of witchcraft, sorcery, enchantment, or conjuration can be punished, end quote. Makes you wonder whether the jails are filled to capacity on Halloween.
Wow.
I bet that's a free day.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, Canada has passed a law. It was by the dairy industry in Quebec that lobbied the government to pass a law that all margarine must be a color other than yellow, so it is not mistaken for butter.
Oh, for goodness gracious.
No yellow margarine is allowed.
I wonder what color it is.
Yeah, what colors do they use?
It is an off-white color.
Which
They
is
said
also known as yellow.
They were going to do blue or pink,
Ew.
but those were vetoed.
Hmm.
What, blue margarine?
That seems like an unnecessary fight. Isn't it labeled margarine?
Do people eat margarine?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like for baking.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's like the poor man's butter.
Yeah. I grew up on margarine, okay?
So did I.
Tub of margarine.
I don't think I had real butter until my teens.
Like 5 years ago, I finally started buying real butter. Country crock. It's delicious. You can buy a
What's the other
big ass tub of it.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Oh, yeah. I have that in spray form.
Oh, that's
still.
margarine? Okay.
Yeah, because you can't believe it's not butter.
It's yellow, though.
It
In
is.
the
It's
States.
America.
Listen, they're probably just trying to prevent all the food dye that we have here in America.
But they were going to color it blue.
Well, yeah. They said no. Nobody
A
wants to
natural
eat
blue.
blue butter.
They were going to use
Or blue margarine,
as
my bad.
occurs in nature.
Yeah.
In nature.
in the natchers.
In natural.
It's natch.
Got it.
Canada has notoriously vague obscenity laws. One problematic prohibition takes a stand against images that show the commission of crimes real or fictitious.
So, like, you
You'll never
can't
know.
take a picture or see imagery of people committing crimes?
Mm-hmm. Real or fake.
How does that work for Netflix and Hulu?
Like in the act of it or like after it's done? I've got questions, Canada. Call me up.
Canada, help.
We don't have a friend up there. We need to phone a friend in Canada and Canada.
If you're Canadian, please enlighten us.
All right. Calgary, Alberta. They have been cracking down on their horseplay.
Apparently.
That has been going on down there, apparently. And so they say that they have a new system of bylaws. Spitting costs you $115, and relieving yourself in public is $300. But if you get into a brawl and beat someone up, it's only $250.
What?
So don't pee in public, but it's
Or
okay
to fight. That makes
Better to
sense.
fight than pee in public.
I don't get it, but okay.
So that's
Thank you.
Canada. Canada rules.
Go Canada.
Canada rules.
I didn't even think about it that way.
I thought that's what you were saying.
No, I was saying like laws. Like,
Oh.
rules of Canada.
Oh, I thought you meant like Canada. Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Sure, it goes both ways.
So what are we going to talk about tonight?
We went on an investigation. We went back to Alton, Illinois.
This time, we got to do our very first investigation at a church.
We went to the First Unitarian Church in Alton, Illinois.
You know, I was trying to tell somebody recently what we did. And
What did we do?
well, you know, like just what you said, like we went on a paranormal investigation inside of a church. And then as I was saying it to this person who does not investigate paranormal things, I was like, I bet this sounds pretty counterintuitive
Mm-hmm.
to be searching for spirits and such inside of a holy place.
But also it kind of makes sense.
A church that is still functioning and still has a congregation. Like, it's
Yeah.
not an abandoned church.
Right,
They were
exactly.
having service in a few hours after we left.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to talk about the history of the First Unitarian Church. So Alton is a pretty old town. We've talked about Alton before when we went to the Mineral Springs Hotel. But this church was originally built as St. Matthew's Catholic Church, and it burned down in 1853. So we don't know like when it first was built, but
It was at least before 1853.
it was before 1853. So a founding member of the First Unitarian Church, he bought the land in 1854 to build their own church, and they bought it for $5,000, which is about $195,000 today.
Mm.
All right, so the church opened the next year in 1855, and they didn't have a high school in Alton at that time, so the high school used the basement for a while, and it was a co-ed school, which 1855, that's pretty
Yeah.
progressive.
Yeah.
In 1865, so 10 years later, Alton built a new high school, so the building was again resumed back to just being used as the church. And then in 1905, the church burned down again.
Oh my gosh.
2 fires.
It's gotta be
that's
a
not great
sign.
odds.
It's not
Especially
good.
if it started out as the Catholic Church.
Mhm.
Something's there.
Something's going on. So the vote was taken to rebuild a new church. So the church that stands now that we were in is what is there, and that was built in 1905. But, fun fact, and we'll get to it, the basement is original to the 1855.
Or at least the dirt is in the basement.
The dirt.
The chunk of the basement, yes.
So they did add on a new wing to the church in about 1960s to the 1970s, and that was done for about $65,000 to $80,000 at that time. Like I said, passages in the basement, which is the original part of the building, they are rumored to have been part of the Underground Railroad. Alton was a pretty big stop on the railroad just because of its proximity to the river, to the Mississippi River.
Uh-huh.
I assume, sorry, everybody here is around, it knows of Alton and they do not.
They don't.
So I just said the river.
That one river.
The big river, the Mississippi River. Other buildings in Alton as well were used for this purpose with the Underground Railroad. The church is near Enos Sanatorium, but that was built in 1857 by abolitionist Nathaniel Hansen, and he had tunnels in that building as well for the Underground Railroad, which is why they think this was also used, because he helped build this place. So one of the reasons why people think that this church is haunted is because of a kind of tragic backstory with one of the pastors. His name was Reverend Philip Mercer, and he died in the church on November 20th of 1934. It's kind of conflicting information what happened. I think it's kind of widely believed that he committed suicide in the church. Some people believe that he was murdered in the church.
Yes, because he didn't leave a note or anything, right?
And his desk was all in shambles.
Yeah,
Like papers
everywhere.
were all messed up. It looked like someone was looking for something.
Yes.
So I think the official, like what's ruled as the official cause of death was a suicide, but people question it.
Right.
There have been reports of voices and shadowy figures that come from where his office used to be. Also reports of shadowy figures in the basement, which is, like we said, is original to the 1850s, where the railroad would have been. People report feeling like they have been touched, seeing shadow figures, and having negative emotional responses like crying without reason.
Aw.
In the basement has some creepy crawly spaces, which we are a sucker for creepy crawly spaces.
I love a good creepy crawly space.
And it has stairs that lead to nowhere.
Where did they lead at one point? Do we remember? Outside?
Upstairs.
Yeah, like it was weird because in the recording he said
I didn't realize how like dumb that sounded.
Upstairs.
Upstairs.
Yeah, they did go upstairs.
they led out of the basement.
I don't know to where.
In the recording, she said these stairs used to lead to this until they the church burned down, and he goes, actually, that's not right. So there's the basement, which is the creepy crawly space that's original, and then off of that is like what has been added on, and it's like classrooms basically. So those are down there, and then upstairs you have the sanctuary. You have
They have offices up there.
a couple offices.
That's where the bathrooms are.
The bathrooms, and then like a common purpose room with like a kitchen kind of area.
Yeah, and that's it.
So this was our first church investigation.
In church-stigation.
Yeah.
In church-stigation.
That sounds confusing.
Please don't ask me to say that.
Try. Just try once.
No.
Just once.
In church-station.
Yeah, you almost had it.
No. So condescending. I did not almost have it.
I mean, you did. You started out
That's
really
terrific.
strong.
So this was a public investigation. I feel like we did a pretty good job of staying away from people.
Yeah.
But this building, I think we have all learned after listening to the recordings, you can hear everything.
You sure can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Louder on recordings than you could just in real time, too.
My recorder was in the creepy crawly spaces of the basement, and I could hear us upstairs very loudly and clearly. And it wasn't because we were being loud. I could hear
by
everybody.
us, she means like literally us, not just like other people. Well, other people too, but she could actually hear us in the sanctuary, and that's embarrassing.
So, let's talk about what we did.
Okay, where should we start?
Let's go to the basement.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of did this thing that we have been doing lately, which is we leave a recorder in each area, and then we take one recorder with us. So my recorder is from the basement that Boydston lovingly put in the dirt in the crawl space and said, "Here, recorder, enjoy the sound of dirt."
And that's pretty much what it did.
Turns out it was a little more than dirt.
So it was about 4 hours of footage. It wasn't an all-night investigation. So I got to listen to other people investigate, which I actually kind of like. I like hearing what other people's experiences are because they talk about it.
Perfect.
Somebody had an ovulus going in the basement kind of far away, so I couldn't catch what the ovulus was saying. But you guys came over by the recorder and said that when you walked in, the ovulus said, "Why is she here?"
It did, the full sentence.
At first I started, as I was listening through, I was like, "Ooh, heavy thud. Ooh, heavy thud." And then I was like, no, never mind. This is just people walking.
This is walking upstairs on 100-year-old boards.
So I didn't catch anything. The only things that I got, like I said, was people's experiences. Other people came through and said one group said they feel nothing. Another group said that they felt very cold and heavy as soon as they came in. And they said that one of the classrooms down in the basement in the newer section was, quote, awful.
Oh.
And that they did not feel comfortable there. And they said it was terrible, awful. They hated it.
Do you have anything from the basement?
I had a recorder going as well. I noted that we opened up to a new medley of songs, which we're getting really good at, I might add. Really mashing up songs.
Are we?
Making them unique. I was impressed. And then I moved the recorder to what I referred to as the pirate chest.
Yes.
And I said, "Yarg, matey, enjoy the booty." Into the recorder.
It's like, enjoy the dirt, enjoy the booty.
At that point, we all sat down in the main area in the dirt room. And it is completely like a dirt floor in there.
My shoes were filthy.
My nostrils were filthy.
Sarah really struggled to breathe.
Within 5 seconds of being there, she started sneezing.
I was in a world of hurt, man. And I was for like several days afterwards. And that's okay. It's 100-year-old dirt. 180-year-old dirt.
We didn't even really bother to take pictures down there, I don't feel like, because I was like, it's just going to be dust.
We sure did.
We did.
Oh, we did?
Yes.
The skeleton pictures.
Oh,
the skeleton in the corner. We posed all together with a skeleton
There
prop.
was a creepy friend. I said, "Ooh, there's a friend in the corner."
Yeah.
And Boydson thought I meant like an animal.
I did.
And I was like, "No, like a creepy."
Like a cat?
Yeah.
First off, it said there was an animal in the basement. Probably would have been a mouse or a rat.
No,
Sure.
cat.
Would not have been a friend.
So we took our pictures with him, and then we sat down and actually did some investigating for about 45 minutes. And I think Boydston had the camera going at this time too.
Mm-hmm.
During this time, I have it on the recorder that we were using the Necrophonic app on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, we heard, "Help me, help, you're dead, and daddy."
I did kind of hear some on my
Daddy.
recorder,
Yes, which I laughed about.
but I could not make out what it was saying. So I hoped that you had that.
And while we're sitting there, we can see what we called the furnace room, which is also where the crawl space is and the recorder is sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think each of us at different times say that we either hear or see something coming out of the furnace room kind of in the corner of our eye. Unfortunately, it is so loud with the walking upstairs that I can't tell if there's actually, my recorder's kind of far away from the furnace room, but I can't tell if there's actual voices or noises coming from over there, because I can also hear people talking upstairs too.
Mm-hmm.
But we experienced that in real time and called it out. I think I wrote, I heard a breath actually come from the furnace room, which was kind of creepy.
With your spirit ears?
With my spirit ears,
Okay.
but it was during walking. And then
Mm-hmm.
when we ask, "Was that you in the furnace room?" the app says no, and then "I'm dead."
I'm dead. Why do I need to breathe?
Right.
Gosh, Sarah.
And then just my other kind of favorite part of that recording was we were doing a TikTok just a little bit later after we were done doing that. And we were doing some filter that says who your parents are, your
Hogwarts parents or something.
No, it was the celebrity lookalike.
Oh,
That's what this
gosh,
one
yes.
was.
It was offensive.
And Lizzie was offended because she was like The Rock, like two other men.
I was like, all men. I was offended.
And you go, "What? I've always been told I look like Kelly Clarkson."
Not The Rock.
That is my mom. Okay.
Not The Rock.
That is my doppelganger.
No, I was dying. It
Do
was
I
really
look
cute.
like The Rock? No.
Apparently, I mean, ask the filter. I don't know. Doesn't lie.
Doesn't lie.
Who was it? Let me see.
Oh. We rewatched it, and it's not The Rock. It was
It's
Jay-Z and Liam Hemsworth.
And some guy from
Like a
BTS.
young kid.
Some K-pop. I don't understand.
Who did we get?
Who do they think I am?
I don't
Okay.
know.
Naomi's cat. Okay.
I mean, I'll take it. Jared Leto. I can see
Boydson
it.
was Adele in The Rock.
Anyways, it was really, really funny when I was listening back. I was like, Lindsay was real upset that it did not come off
Because
like
you
Kelly
both
Clarkson.
got females, and
You
I
went
got
first.
all men.
You went first.
Which true, my
One
hair
is a
was
young
up,
boy.
but still, I have hair.
I also got the young boy, the same one. We
Yeah,
must
but you
look
also
alike.
got Jared Leto, who is a beautiful man.
That is
Okay.
true. I'll
I
take
got
it.
The Rock
You got Adele. Stop it.
and The Rock.
You got Adele.
The Rock.
I got 3 men.
My
One
mom
young
and dad
man.
are beautiful.
Yeah, you just have a mom and dad.
Anyways, that was really entertaining to listen back.
That was awful.
So I had the night vision from while we were down there.
Oh, lucky you.
A few things to add to the necrophonics. We asked how many people were down there, and it said a lot. Lindsay asked, "Who are you hiding?" No, we asked, "Who are you hiding from?" It said Lindsay.
Aww. It's rude.
Why is she here?
She looks like 3 men.
She doesn't even go here.
You don't even go here.
I just got beat up by the ghosts all night. Nobody cares about me.
And then speaking to the furnace room, I said, it could just be my eyes, but out of the corner of my eye, I really thought that I saw a light going into the furnace room. And then Sarah chimed in and said, yeah, the room's pretty creepy. And then Necrophonics was still going. Somebody asked, do you know Reverend Mercer? And it says, yeah.
Sure do.
And then at the end of the video, I go into the furnace room for whatever reason, and I come out pretty quickly saying that room's really creepy, and I'm getting weird vibes there.
I agree. It is creepy.
It is creepy. And then so that's at the dirt original basement section. We went to the classroom section a little later because there was another group that said there's a hallway that turns, and in that corner area, they saw a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted to see if we could do it too. So
Yeah,
we
of
sat
course we
down
went.
there, set up a recorder right in the place that they said that they saw the shadow figure. And we're down there for, maybe 15 minutes. It was at the very end of the night. And Lindsay had spirit ears.
Mm-hmm.
I did. Look at that. It's rubbing off.
He did it.
Nailed it.
I developed my spirit ears.
Sarah and I don't say anything, but Lindsay thinks she heard a growl. And I do hear something. Maybe it's a growl. Maybe it's a male voice. I'm not sure, but I will try my hardest to isolate it and hopefully put it in there.
Cool.
I will say we were the only ones down in the basement at that time, because right after that I went to get my recorder from the creepy crawly space and nobody was in there.
Okay. And then we spent quite a bit of time upstairs
We did.
in the sanctuary.
The sanctuary.
We were using our recorders. We used the REM pod. Some flashlights were set up. And we tried to use Phasma with our headphones, but that was me trying to finagle the Bluetooth headphones for like a good 20 minutes, and I couldn't get it together. So we ended up using it without headphones after a little while. At one point, Boydston says that her moms are fighting into the recorder because she hears bickering between Lindsay and I.
Why were we bickering?
I don't really remember. It was something stupid. But as we're fighting, which we weren't really fighting, but Boydston says, my moms are fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And then the flashlight turned on. At 9 minutes and 36 seconds in, the REM pod, which is positioned right next to us in the aisle, goes off along with the flashlight. And this is when we start singing like a group of angels, might I say. Boydston whispers into the recorder, come with me for a surprise.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
What is with you, like, in your diary with the recorders this evening?
quite
Oh, I'm
enjoyed it. It
sorry.
was really
Who
funny.
used to have the
I love that.
recorder
Your vlog.
diaries?
No, I love the vlog. I miss the vlog. Don't you miss the vlog?
I took it over for you.
You did.
Lindsay's vlog.
Except now, every time I approach the recorders, like when I come to collect them, I go, hi, recorder, it's me.
I do too. It's me. I'm walking. Like, okay.
Don't think it's a ghost.
Really?
It's just me.
Yeah. So the surprise was that Lindsay and I were singing, and she brought the recorder closer so I could hear it more clearly.
Oh, yeah, sounds like me.
That's not a good surprise.
And I'll just kind of briefly go through what this choir concert sounded like.
Well,
We were
okay,
sitting in the
so
pews.
The pews had hymnals in
Yes.
them.
Yes, and we decided, how can we stir up some
Activity.
Some spiritual spirits.
Yes. Maybe they like song. I don't know. I tried to sing a African song.
Well, I challenged you to. I said,
It
go to page,
was a beautiful
blah, blah, blah.
song, but I did not do it any justice. I had no idea how to say anything, and I was just hell-bent on sight reading everything.
You were.
I kept saying, like, oh, I know this song. And you're like, I'll sight read it. I can sight read.
Good for you.
Fun fact, I can no longer sight read. It's been confirmed by this recording.
You were very proud of it.
No, I was humbled very quickly. This was the first song right out the gate, and I was already like, I am terrible at this. Okay. There was a very nice man that walked in from a different group, and he joined us. He walked around for a little while, and eventually he joined our choir.
Because who wouldn't?
Obviously.
We
I was
all
very
sang-
impressed.
We all sing This Little Light of Mine together.
I loved that.
That was fun.
It was really funny. And the flashlights are turning off and on this whole time we're singing in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
And I sang all of Silent Night in German.
You did. I heard
Actually
it.
really impressed with myself on that. I was like, okay. And then the REM pod goes off again next to us. And I don't know if somebody's messing with or not. Nobody called it out as far as like, oh, that went off or that was me touching it. I have no idea. I just heard it go off.
No, I remember it going off a couple times.
Oh, really? Okay.
And
well,
they
then there you
said,
go.
didn't they say that the REM pods or the EMF detectors were going off in one of the pews?
Okay.
And we were sitting in one of those pews.
That would make sense. Boydston sang a Hindu song.
Listen, I
Did
think it was
I?
probably me who was challenging you guys to sing the hardest songs.
And you wanted to sing the entire thing too. Like you were gonna do it.
You were sight reading.
You were
Are you
sight reading
sure?
Hindu. Yes, I'm positive.
Oh,
It
no.
was not me.
You were really into it too. Unfortunately, this is about the time we realized that somebody else from a different group had left their recorder. in the front and now has the pleasure of listening to our entire singing
no, I'm so
that went
sorry.
on for like 27 minutes.
I'm so sorry. Other group.
I was like, oh, that's awful. I'm so sorry. Other group.
Listen,
we didn't know.
I bet they loved it.
We were not doing it to be obnoxious, like sometimes we can be.
Oh,
We
no,
were
we were
honestly
being
doing it
polite.
to try to provoke a response.
We really were. We were having our own session.
Lindsay, you saw something up in the ceiling, like up in the corner area near the door on the ceiling. You saw a light move kind of quick past us, and we tried to debunk it, and we couldn't. So that was kind of cool. And the guy that was with us, he had his music box.
Yes.
And he had a really cool song on there.
What was the song? I've forgotten.
I asked him, he said, it's just a creepy song. And I said, well, I really like it.
I heard it like 4 times from the basement.
Yes.
But I didn't call it out in my recordings because I didn't know if it was somebody moving it or what.
Yeah, I
but
think
it went
at
off
some
several
point
times.
somebody walked in too, and they didn't really announce themselves, so they were speaking very quietly.
Yeah.
I think somebody walked in front of it. But they positioned themselves at the front, the other people that walked in front of the music box, and they had kind of some activity with a cat toy that went off several times for them. Lindsay, at this point, you go to the front, and then you sing quietly to yourself.
Not to myself, to the spirits. I was not singing for my own benefit.
Another solid 20 minutes. You were just in your own world.
Self-soothing.
No,
It
so
was so self-soothing.
by the front, they mean like I went to the pulpit and I put the recorder
Yes.
right up by the pulpit and I sat in the chair behind the pulpit.
That's where the other recorder was too, from the group, so they get to hear you up in the
Oh,
front.
gosh. So I sat there and I just sang quietly to myself.
I can hear you on my recorder.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I thought I was doing it very quietly.
It was quiet. It
Okay.
just is everything. You can hear everything in there. You did a nice job.
Thank you. I was just singing old hymns.
And you got lots
From
of
memory.
responses from the flashlight. So
I did.
The guy that was with us, he also saw a light go on and off, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Okay. That's pretty much all I got there.
I had a recorder sitting at the front of the church
Uh-huh.
when Lindsay was sitting up at the front. Yeah, so I got to listen to that. And when we walked in, there was a guy with an SLS camera that was saying that there was someone, like saying that they saw
Oh,
an anomaly sitting next to them in
The front pew.
in the pew.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did either of you guys have recordings from that front room?
Yes, I had the recorder and the night vision from the front room.
Okay. Let's hear it.
And so by front room, the person who kind of started the investigation and goes to church here, he said that when he was cleaning up from an investigation, he was hearing noises from this room. And it's like a room right off of the auditorium.
It opens to the front, so it's where people
Yeah.
enter on either
Mhm.
side. They enter from the sides to get to the sanctuary.
Yes. And he thought it was Reverend Mercer.
So we went and sat there.
We did.
We did the phasma in there. A few of the words were master, lots of people, demon.
Oh.
There was a repeating female voice over and over, but it was pretty garbled. Her responses were garbled, so we couldn't really make it out. And we were like, okay, say it clearer. And we kept trying with her, but yeah, she did not come through. We heard Seth and stop. And when asked if Reverend Mercer was there, we heard Reverend, and then Reverend Mercer, and then Mercer.
Interesting.
When asked for the number of people in the room, we heard 12, and we also got Deacon.
It's a very small room for 12 people in the tiny little front room.
It is. We also got flashlight responses. I think we had ghost lines.
Yeah, I think we did.
We did have ghost lights set up.
So not tons of evidence overall.
Which it's hard to gather evidence with public investigations. I think if it had been a private, it would have been a lot easier to know, oh, is that a footstep or is that,
Yeah.
there was just too much background noise, I think, to catch
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I think my takeaway is the creepy vibes that I got in that little furnace room.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty uncomfortable in there,
Yes, I agree.
but comfortable everywhere else. Comfortable enough to try and sing hymns
In Hindu.
in Hindu. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry for the private concert you got to listen to.
We tried to sing several languages. It wasn't just that. It's fine.
What would you guys rate First Unitarian Church?
Like a 3?
Yeah. Probably, yeah. I think 3's fair. But just remember, it's our 5 hours in time.
Blip in time for us.
It could be totally different for other people who might have gotten a ton of really compelling evidence. So
it sounds like other groups actually got pretty good evidence there too. So we were just kind of chasing their tail all night, that we didn't quite get the same stuff that they did.
Right. But we had a great time.
Thanks so much for tuning in this week to our investigation at the First Unitarian Church of Alton, Illinois. You can always find us at thetipsyghost.com with our socials linked from there. And you can also email us at thetipsyghost@gmail.com.
Please give us a 5-star rating and a great review anywhere you listen to podcasts. We really appreciate it, and it really does help.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We will catch you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.